Golf is the common theme, but we tend to meander through most things. I don't know if you've seen any of the other stuff, but we cover mostly. We have quite a strong food content, don't we, Scott?
Potatoes. We'd like to get into the people's potatoes taste.
Actually, yeah, we need to cover that one, Steve. So basically, everyone who comes on has to sort of specify their favourite type of potato, and I think actually roast potatoes.
And we judge. we judge you on whatever you say.
Oh, roast potato for me. Either that or I'm from the northeast of England. If it's fried or it's battered, we'll eat it. If it's not cooked or it doesn't look right, we don't. So brilliant. That tends to be the way us lot are up at the north. But no. You talk about food content. I think you can only see me from top half now, but I think I'm about 4.5 stone heavier than when I actually finished playing cricket. And anybody that's just watched that road safety world thing, I've probably got a stone on Hoggard yet to go. I think Hoggard's still my opening bowling partner. So between us, I think we've got about 8 or 9 stone covered since we finished playing. So food content, hey, fill your boots. I've filled mine since I finished playing.
You're still too light to have a game on the seesaw with me.
Pardon, sir? I didn't hear that.
You're still too light to have a game on the seesaw with me.
I don't know. I think Hoggard's about there. I think I'm not far off him, to be fair. Skeg, did you see that? Did you see any of that game? Dimi, did you see any of that stuff?
Yeah, I did. I was supposed to go, but I couldn't in the end because I couldn't come back here and do 2 weeks of quarantine in a hotel. So
it was. Yeah, I couldn't stop laughing while I was watching. I was thinking they're getting paid for this as well. But
I know.
I had a great laugh out there. But I'm not sure I could have done 2 weeks quarantine there and 2 weeks quarantine coming back.
No, was it like a golden oldies tournament?
Yeah, it was more or less an over 40s. So the lads got paid a little bit. KP and Tendulkar and Lara got paid a lot, and they had a 6-team world tournament of over 40 cricketers in India, where they're all in the same hotel, apart from the select few, I think, and they had a ball.
I tell you what, when I first retired, I got asked to go to Kenya to play in a touch rugby tournament for somebody's 50th birthday. And they flew us first class. They paid us a couple of quid. We had a week in Kenya on the beach, and we played beach touch rugby with them. And I was in the same team as Willie John McBride, Gareth Edwards, Phil Bennett. Honestly, all my heroes, I was in the same team with. And it was just the best week we've ever had in our lives. We got loads of sand in our socks and stuff like that. But apart from that, everything was fine. It was just absolutely surreal. It was brilliant.
Is the kind of retired sportsman, gig prevalent? I mean, obviously not now during the COVID, but in the past, as soon as you've packed up, is there plenty of things you can go into? Obviously, with golf, it's the Champions Tour and the seniors and things, but with physical games, I suppose it's a bit more difficult, isn't it?
The best trip I go on now from retired is and I think Sean and Dimi have been on it once, I think, is the footballers, cricketers. 10 international footballers, 10 international cricketers. We got to Portugal, make fools of ourselves for 4 days, 5 days at the end of September. And for me, it's been going 12 years now. It's the best golf trip on the circuit. It is hilarious. From minute one till you come off, till you finish the beach party on the Sunday night or the Saturday night, it is the best golf trip ever. We took Twiggy last year, Tremlett last year. And I asked him, I said, "Are you come back next year?" He says, "I'm not even going to unpack my bags." Yeah, that good of a time.
Nah, Dim, when did we go? What year was that? Like 2015? 14?
4 years ago, was it?
No, it was more than
5 years ago. Were you not still playing?
Yeah, I was still playing, yeah. So we were in 2012 or 13, I reckon.
Yeah.
That's a long time ago.
It
is a great trip.
We missed that first flight, didn't we?
Yeah, that's right. You came in the morning, didn't you?
Sean, why did we miss the flight?
Because we waited in line for about 2 hours and no one said anything.
Was this the first official trip after everybody does everything for you?
Yes.
Yeah,
pretty much.
It's like, how do you get a team manager? So the first time you don't have a team manager, you miss the flight.
Well, to be fair, they did everything for us. All we had to do was turn up at the right time. And, we couldn't even do that.
We did catch up. Jeez.
Did catch up. Absolutely, we did.
Brilliant.
I used to play in a local football team, and the one guy, every year he used to get his timings wrong when the clocks went back and forward. So on those 2 occasions, he was either early an hour or late an hour, and it happened for about 3 seasons. It was unbelievable.
We had one guy playing for Quinnell, Wales with me, called Chris Wyatt, right? That we had to tell him a different time to everybody else. So if we were meeting at 3, we'd have to tell him we were meeting at 2, because he would then only be about 10 minutes late. Because we used to call it Wyatt time. We go, what are we meeting tomorrow? Why? Yeah, 2 o'clock, sir, 2 o'clock, yeah. And you turn up at 3:10. We'd only have to wait then a couple more minutes rather than an hour and a half. Like.
We know someone like that as well. Harmy knows him very well. Old Derek Kemway.
Yeah, I remember him. He was terrible. He's only on the academy trip. He's only on the academy trip that 1 year. But again, it was another one. It was who else was on? Him and Scoey. There was about 3 of them. Tremlett was another one. You literally, if you said one time, you had to say it half an hour earlier. And that's the thing that people didn't get. It was like, you're not late. Everybody's late the minute you don't turn up. I remember one of the fascinating stories where big Alex Tudor, who I'm commentating with now on Talk Sport for the cricket, he got hit when he got hit in the face in Perth in 2002. Brett Lee hit him in the face. He wasn't meant to play in that Test match, and everything was going wrong. We took 25 players on a tour when 7 of them weren't fit. Nobody was, we ended up I broke Ashley Giles' wrist after the first Test match. So we had one spinner, Richard Dawson, who Australia didn't really sort of have any. They didn't think he was very good, so just kept whacking him everywhere. We didn't have enough batters, so we kept playing one seamer less. It was just the worst trip in the world. And on the morning of the first day of the Test match, Alex Tudor comes out the lift 5 minutes early for the bus, singing away to his headphones, and Nasser's took one look at him because he's obviously pumped up. Right, fuck it, leave him. So the bus left. And actually, Tude's got a taxi and beat the bus to the ground on the way and getting the gear off the bus. Andy Caddick did his back, got a back spasm, so Alex Tudor had to play. And 2 days later, Brett Lee hit him in the face and smashed all his eyes. So you talk about being late. Sometimes it's a good time to be late, because if Tude's hadn't getting there on time, they wouldn't have picked him. They would have picked somebody else, and he wouldn't have gotten his face smashed in. So but you talk about. Being late, that was one of my big bugbear. I hated people being late, because it's like, why should I turn up at a certain time and you're not? Thorpe was one. Graham Thorpe was a huge one. I remember it was a tour to the West Indies. We were supposed to be there for 1 o'clock at the airport. Everybody meets, do the media, do the signing, like whatever, 2 bats, 1,000 bats. Off you go. Scott, you'll have had it with like the Lions and things like that. Always meet at the airport at Heathrow. 7 o'clock leave for the flight. Thorpe turns up at 6:30. He's not 20 minutes late. He's 5.5 hours late. He didn't want to do the media and didn't want to do the signing stuff. And when we asked him, Thorpe, where the fuck have you been? And he went, you wouldn't believe it. He says, I had an Asian taxi driver who just loved cricket, and he took us to his house for tea. He says, you've got to come and meet my family. He says, so I've just had tea with them for 3.5 hours. And it was like, Thorpe, give over. Well, Willie, I've heard some excuses. Thorpe was terrible. He had no interest in being there on the right time. It was just right. And he's one of England's coaches now, which makes it even more funny.
Yeah. Because Aubameyang was left out reportedly to do with timekeeping. What sort of punishments did you guys, through all your careers, not necessarily you personally, but you see the captains or the management dishing out to other players?
We didn't really have any fine system. Probably that's why he was late all the time. It was now and again, if it was a bad run, you get dropped. But because when I first started, there was no money in it, so it didn't matter. But at the end, it was more drinking the fines. At court at the end of the year, you get to do ridiculous things, which obviously I'm not allowed to tell you. There's mind you, we did get. Well, no, I can't tell you. No, I can't tell you.
No, leave it there.
I nearly told you then. I don't know. This is being recorded. I genuinely, when we have a beer one day, I'll have to tell you.
Yeah. Sounds good.
No, I think at Hampshire it was a bit of both. It was sort of a few pounds and sort of like a fining session, wasn't it? Sort of every sort of once a month we try to do, especially with Neil McKenzie, which was always entertaining.
He's the funniest man I've ever played. One of the funniest men I've ever played cricket with.
Oh,
Yeah, he's up there, isn't he?
Oh,
Yeah.
Matt, he's one of the funniest men I've ever played cricket with. Absolutely loose. From somebody who's so quiet, and you think, when you say that, and people look at you and spend 5 minutes in Mac's company, and it's like this quiet lad who doesn't say a great deal. I said, just wait till you get him on the right moment, and that's it. He's brilliant. Brought him to Durham, and tell a story where we brought him to Durham, and me, Dale Benkin, so Benke, who knew him really well, and Michael Divinito, I'd never met him before, I don't think. And remember Derby when we stayed at that Virgin Hotel, the gym opposite the ground,
yeah.
and they had that American diner underneath. So we were sitting. It was his first game. It was his first game for Durham, first ever cricket match for Durham. Signed a mid-season, one-day game, 40-over game, and we're sitting at this American diner. We'd had a few. It's a 12 o'clock start. So Max got this just little Diet Coke. So every time he went to the toilet, Benke or one of us would slip a little vodka in it. So we did this 8 times to him, and we thought nothing more of it. And after the 8th time, the barman told us he's actually drinking Jack Daniels and Coke, not just Coke. So by the time he come off, you couldn't get him to his bedroom. And the very next morning, we lose a toss, bat first. He goes out batting number 4. And I think my brother was at the non-strikers end, and he said, Matt, just be careful. Graham Wagg, who's just left Glamorgan, he says he's coming out just after side screen. You've got to watch. Well, Mackie picked his bat up. He didn't even bring it down. Stumps everywhere. Couldn't see the thing. He literally, his eyes had gone. And that was his sort of induction to Durham Cricket Club via Dale Benkenstein, Steve Harmison, and Michael Divinito.
You never told us that story, did you?
Oh, he kept that one very quiet, didn't he?
Yeah, he did.
Cheeky bugger.
You probably can't remember it, in fairness to him. So how did you guys keep it? You know what I mean? Because like lockdown should be a piece of piss for you guys, because you play five-day matches and things like that, and you must be bored shitless with like 2.5, 3 days. How do you keep yourself? You know what I mean? And you're around the changing room and everything like that. There's only so much bloody chat you can do.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what. There's a lot of poker, a lot of cards. The lads love cards. So if you're a card player, the time, it's like the time just flies by. So there's always a little bit of banter and a little bit of cash when there's cards involved. But
Dimi, here's a question for you, right? Have you ever had a stonking hand, right, a proper good hand, and then been called in the bat? You'd be tamping. You got 3 kings. You got 3 kings and 2 aces, and you're going like you're in. You'd be like, oh fucking hell, I'll be tamping.
No, we'll always finish the card game before cricket. That's definitely more important. There's the card involved. But we always want to finish the cards. But yeah, it's look, we spend a lot of time together, and for me, I loved it. I loved every minute of it. It's not for everyone, but I was, playing professional cricket was about being away from home and being with your mates and playing cricket. It wasn't even work. It was just having fun. So I can't talk highly enough of it. Loved every minute of it.
Scott, it sometimes depends where you are, because if you look at somewhere like a Middlesex, or there's a class system in cricket. You go to Middlesex, you'll see about 7 or 8 of the lads doing like Times and Telegraph crosswords. But then if you come to Durham, we've got our colouring books and colouring pencils out. So.
Wait, hang on. I've always got one in my hand just in case.
So it depends where you are in the country. You know, you'll have lads reading books, and you'll have other lads, we've got an attention span of a gnat who will just be climbing the walls. You know, it depends on the days as well. If you've had a long day in the field, you'd find a lot of bowlers sleep. You know, a day's batting for us, if we manage to bat a full day at Durham, you know, as a fast bowler, your mummies watch 10 overs and sleep for the other 80. Wake up for it's a common theme with me. I'll wake up every 2 hours just for me lunch and me tea. So I'll go back to sleep, have a big one, and then go back to sleep. So I can safely say I never got accused of not bowling me overs, but I didn't actually watch our batsmen bat a great deal, because once I'd had my belly filled, I wanted to go to sleep.
Oh, well, hey, gee, this is what I would love. I would love, like, you know what I mean? You play a game of rugby, and half time you go in and have cucumber sandwiches. That's what I would. Oh my God, I would have loved that. I think I got sent off once. Well, I got a yellow card, in the first ever yellow card in international rugby. It was playing against France at the stadium, and I was very much, you know, half time whistle goes, I sort of amble off. You see people run off now. They run out faster than when they play in. You know what I mean? And I'd amble in. It'd take me a couple of minutes to get in and everything. But I was red carded with about 5 minutes to go just before half time. So I thought, well, there's no point hanging around. I'll just go into the changing room. So I went into the changing room. Honestly, I thought I walked into a wedding reception. There was a buffet on the table. There was sandwiches, there was, you know, oranges, there was cakes, there was loads of sweets and everything. Now, when I normally got in there, because I'd be last trying to get back to the changing room normally, it'd be all gone. So I thought, oh, fucking hell. So I wasn't sure what the protocol was, right? So I grabbed a plate and I made a big plate, a couple of sandwiches on the side so you can get more in the middle. I took it back. I thought I'd put it on the other side of my bag because I wasn't sure if we were really supposed to have it. And then the players come in like locusts and eating a lot. And I was like, fucking hell. So after that, I realised why the players run in for half time. You watch the next game, right? You watch the next game, they're running in. I was like Alan Partridge in the end. I took my own fucking plate. I took a 16-inch plate to me just so I could have a couple of nibbles for after the game. It was lovely.
We always get asked where's the favourite ground, where's the best place to play, and you get loads of people just say Lords, and it is, and you say Lords. You get asked loads of questions. Where's the best place you've ever played cricket? I'll say Lords, and they'll say why, the atmosphere, the history, and no, you get garlic prawns and for starter, you get a rack of lamb for lunch or a great big steak, and you get this thing called Louisiana Love Bite, this chocolate mousse cake with hard chocolate on top and like a shortbread underneath. And they're like, people are looking at you going, you play cricket for England at Lords, and that's the best thing about it. Oh no, it's Michelin star restaurant here. You want to see it? In a test match, bowl first. Bowl me 6 overs at the start, and I can see Boney 40 minutes, 25 minutes, 40 minutes before lunch, and I'll be in his ear. Mick, I think I can get him. I think I can get you a wicket here. And the only reason I'm doing it, because captains, Dimi, you've been captains of cricket. You get a bit of paper at lunchtime off your score or your analyst, and it'll tell you how many overs each bowler's bowled and what the score is and everything that goes with it. Now, my theory was, if I can get 2 overs in or 3 overs in before lunch, and I'll say to Mick, look, I can get one here. I reckon I can get one. I'll bowl me 3 overs. That's 9 overs I've bowled before lunch. So when he looks at that bit of paper at lunchtime, he'll go, Army's bowled 9, Oggy's bowled 6, Fred's bowled 3. Well, we'll go, Jonah, you and Fred start up. I know I've got at least another 40 minutes to let me do the lunchtime test. I've got a plate you wouldn't be able to climb, never mind eat. It's massive. There's theories in cricket when it comes to food as well.
I know, when they say fast bowlers are dumb, hey?
Exactly. First time I played cricket for Durham was at Yorkshire, at Scarborough, and there was Tetleys on the table. 50 over game. You had 25 overs, lunch, 25 overs, 10 minutes, 25 overs tea, 25 overs finish. At lunchtime, there was pints of Tetleys, 1995, Scarborough Festival. I'm thinking 16-year-old. I'm thinking I had a little issue with the drink then. So you can imagine what I'm like now. Oh, unbelievable.
Right, so going back to Lords, when they ring the bell to come out,
Yeah.
that's not for people to know that play starting. That's to put the rack of lamb in.
It is, yeah. Just
Yeah, so
slip it in, yeah.
perfectly pink.
It's an amazing place, Lords. Lords is an amazing place. Yeah, Sean and Dimi will say you're playing there when Lords has got a few people in, you know, in cup finals, or you've managed to play there internationally. It's a ridiculous place. You go in, you go through that long room, and as an England player, I used to, apart from the 2005 Ashes, you go through and it's not roped off. So Scott, you've literally before the game, at half time or at the end of the game, just imagine trying to get through people to get onto the ground, to get onto the pitch.
Yeah.
It's like, you know, you've got people eating their breakfasts, or, you know, having conversations, or doing the crossword, or some of them half asleep, and you're sort of shoving them to one side. Excuse me, pardon me, excuse me, can you let me? And they look at you with disdain, and you think, I'm actually here to play cricket. You're here to watch. I'm here to play.
Right.
So to try and fight through them is ridiculous, especially when half of them are looking and thinking, fucking hell, I've picked you again. And it's just a weird place to play. It's crazy.
This is like good question. What's the difference, right? Because they played with a pink ball the other day. And what's the difference playing with a white ball, a red ball, and a pink ball? Do they feel different in the hand or something? Or do they just bounce differently off the pitch?
From my point of view, you can't really see the seam with a pink ball. From my experience, a white ball you can, as it sort of wears throughout the sort of game, and the red ball, yes, you can. But for the pink ball, I just couldn't see the seam, which used to help me a lot with, obviously, you know, if it's got a swing, the seam's normally generally upright, or for the spinners, you know, you could tell sort of which way, if it was a googly or top spinner or just a genuine sort of leg spinner.
Yeah.
So is that that's the Cooker ball has got more lacquer on, is it?
Yeah, absolutely. Like the red one just stays shiny for longer. It's just a better ball. And like the white ball obviously peels off and it doesn't swing. Like it swings for 5 or 6 overs and then it's done. That's why they've changed rules and had added 2 white balls, 50 over cricket, to make it a bit more interesting. Well, I suppose it helps the bowlers and the batters, to be fair, because if it swings a bit more. And the pink
which
ball,
which one is harder than sandpaper?
I don't know. I think the white ball is probably the best one to sandpaper.
Yeah, the white ball is the best one to sandpaper.
The pink ball is good for Test cricket though. Under lights,
Yeah,
it's good viewing. I think it's brilliant viewing because it does a bit more, brings the teams closer together.
And viewers can see it.
Say that again.
And we can at home we can actually see it a bit better.
Yeah. Oh, look, I think it's just a better game as long as they leave the wickets with a little bit of grass on it. You don't need 400 in Test matches anymore. You need 270, plays 250, plays 240, and try and get them. I love those Test matches.
There needs to be more of a contest between bat and ball in the red ball game or the Test match game because of the way the white ball is now dominated by bat, which is great, which we want to see. You want to see 6s and 4s in 2020. You want to see a little bit more thought going into 50 over. Like, you know, we talk about what this Indian series is going to be, but then with a red ball or the pink ball, I think you need a bit more of a contest to bring the bowlers into play. Interesting, this last pink ball against India, spoke to Mark Wood the day before the game and spoke an interview to Ben Stokes. And they said they've not seen a pink ball like this. It was completely different to what they had before. The seam that Sean was on about, this had been sort of painted black or dyed black. It was a lot harder. It was a lot tougher. And they said it was doing all sorts once the lights came on. And Mark said, yeah, the lacquer on, he said it was like nail varnish on the pink ball, this one, the Session G ball. And they said it wouldn't, it was going to do all sorts. And as it happened, the game was finished more because of poor batting. The game was finished in a day and a half. But I'm with Dimi. I think the game needs something in the longer format. It needs something different. And I think pink ball is definitely here to stay.
As a question for you then. So I know they're two completely different games, really, as in like from years and years ago, the test and now the 2020. But were there any players that spring to mind that from yesteryear that would be phenomenal in 2020? I mean, I'm thinking obviously both of them would have been.
I'd just say any Monday. I'd say if you say any great name, they'll be able to play at any time, and I'm sure that covers Scott in rugby. Matt, if he's talking about football, you talk about George Best playing on pitches he played on with the hard ball and the boots he had. Can you imagine what he'd be like on now? I talk about great rugby players. Same applies to cricket. I think the greats of the game were greats of the game for one reason, because they had a mind, and their thought process was quicker, and they were better than anybody else. And I think they would still evolve now.
I tell you what, I was lucky enough, right? I was only 17 probably, and down in Sletchley Cricket Club, where we were talking about earlier, Durham came down and they played Glamorgan, and I watched Ben Richards, and oh my God, he was a god, you know what I mean? And he came down, Beefy was there, and just to watch those guys, they were just incredible. From a Glamorgan point of view, you didn't want to get them out because you wanted to see them smash the ball everywhere. He was flicking it over the top of the clubhouse. He was smashing it over the squash courts. He was, oh my God, just to be there that day, and it was packed. You know what I mean? It was like sitting, sort of sitting in the standing room only with all. It was just the best day. And the thing I do remember about it is, at the end of the day, we put all our cans together. We built a big wall of cans. We were shit-fit. It was absolutely brilliant. it was the best day ever. But that for me, seeing Durham come down there, they were brilliant, absolutely brilliant.
There's one guy that Sean and Dimi know very, very well, and he's one of the greatest of all time. Dimi's already mentioned him earlier, but when you look at someone like Shane Warne, played quite a bit of cricket against Warne, he had a leg spin and a ball that went straight on. But that wasn't what made Shane Warne. Shane Warne was about the competition. Shane Warne was the theatre. Shane Warne was this white line. When I go over this white line, this is my stage. And now with all the IPL, all the big razzmatazz of the cricket, forget the finances that's in it. Shane Warne would revel in playing 2020 cricket now, because he would see it as a massive contest. Somebody tried to hit him out of the park. I'm sure, Dimi, you'll agree with that. Yeah,
100%. It was so fun. I was with him just the other day, and we were chatting about. One of the lads asked him, like, if you played right now, how much would you go for in the IPL? And he went, probably about 8 million. Just like, I was pissing myself. He's going, like, seriously, like, these guys are going for 3 million. Surely I'll go for 8. And I was like, yeah, probably. I don't know. Yeah. I'm not going to disagree with you. Fair enough. But, that's the confidence he had. And look, and as Harmy said, it showed on the field. And Sean and I were lucky enough to play with him and see him like firsthand. And it was just different league. It was. You could just see why he was the best in the world.
And I mean, a good example would be what he did with Rajasthan in that first sort of IPL. Rajasthan weren't even renowned to be a sort of a good team. They didn't have a very good team on paper. But Warne grabbed those players. Dim, you would have seen it as well. And he changed their whole complex of that whole team, and installed belief into every single player. They had a lot of young players, and next thing you know, they went all the way, which was unbelievable, really.
Do you know what I love even to today, when he does a piece on television and he's showing you his flippers and he's showing you his out the back, and he still wants to bowl whoever's at the end out. And he always wants to make him. He wants to turn it a little bit more. He wants to flip it on. And when he does, you can see it in his face. You know what I mean? He hasn't lost that competitive edge at all, has he?
No, he's even worse on the golf course.
Is he?
Yeah, massively.
You
must have played recently with him, on the golf course?
Yeah, I haven't played for a little while, actually. He's been away, and then we went to Gold Coast. But we were supposed to play on Friday, so hopefully the weather's good. It's been raining here, so Don't really want to play in the rain, but yeah, we've played a bit. We play a lot, and he's he's definitely more competitive on the golf course than on the cricket field. That's for sure.
Yeah, 100%.
And he is the unluckiest golfer in the history of golf.
Oh, I don't know. I know a few. I know a few. I think everyone claims that, don't they?
I mean, when we were at Hampshire, he was sponsored by Titleist, and he used to get these big brown boxes, didn't he, of just these balls with printed 23 on them, and we were just like, I don't know, like a puppy waiting to get fed. You know what I mean? Like, we were just, and he was just dishing them out, and I promise you, we had the best time. I'll tell you, the best time at Hampshire when he was around and leading. Yeah.
He still does. He still is sponsored by Titleist, and he's got that many boxes of balls.
That's why he's unlucky, isn't he? Titleist just seen as unlucky. I'll look after him.
What?
I've had some tailor-made ones, and I leave them for everybody else to find. I
share them out.
I share the love. Yeah.
I played just before the last lockdown. So it was during, I think, the South African series. I was fortunate to play Queenwood with Keezy, who is Rob Key, who is another unlucky golfer, as you can imagine. He is Keezy. If Keezy plays the first hole badly, you are playing on the worst course in the world. It could be, you could be playing at Augusta. He double bogeys the first. This is shit. This course is crap. And that's the way Rob Key is. And unfortunately for Keezy, the last two or three times he's played, I've actually played pretty poorly. I've been ranked. He actually says I'm the worst 6 handicapper he's ever met. So, and I mean, Queenwood, what a lovely place that is. Fantastic golf course with Terry and Zach Crawley. But I think I found about 25 Pro V1s because I was hitting balls in areas where the rich blokes wouldn't even go and look for theirs. How badly I played. I just kept finding these good balls, and I'm like, and you could just obviously see, I was like, oh, the other 3 of them were like miles over there. And I'm thinking, I'm standing in a place, the rich blokes are not even sending their caddies for. So that's how badly I played the last time I played golf.
We always think that it's a recognition of the type of course you're at as well. Because, if you're finding top flights and, Molotors and that, you're at a crap course. Whereas if you're finding Pro V1s, you're at a pretty good place.
I was disgusted last year when I found some Slazenger balls down the 2010. Fucking hell. How do people like that get on the course? You know what I mean? There was even a couple of Dunlop. Jesus, do they make balls anymore? Man, it's unbelievable.
Well, Brockenhurst were a member there. We had some work done recently where they dug out a load of ground, made a big drainage thing and everything. Anyway, the ground that they dug out was next to the par 3, and we were walking past one time, and I saw a ball just sat in the mud that had been sort of unearthed, and it was one of the old Penfolds. Do you remember the old Penfold with the Ace of Spades?
What?
Yeah. So many, many years ago, someone had been playing this par 3, had pulled it off into there or sliced it, whichever hand they were playing, down into the left, and it just stayed there all those years, and then it had been unearthed by this work. But
and now you're playing it.
Well, actually, do you know what? It's funny actually because I can't remember the other one that I found, but there was another one about a week later in virtually the same spot. Anyway, I had them in my bag.
How long were you looking for?
No, this is about when. No, I've gone home in between.
Oh, okay.
So I found this ball, and on one of the other holes, the guy I was playing with, we decided to hit these golf balls. So I hit the Penfold. I can't remember the other ball that because the Penfold was the very small one. Do you remember when there's the really small size, and then they brought out the American size, which was slightly bigger, and now they've got the one that we use today, which is bigger still. But we played a hole, and I parred with the Penfold. It was a par 4. I parred with the Penfold, and my mate birdied with this other one. So I mean, what does that tell you? I mean, that's bizarre, isn't it?
Tells you a good golfer.
Well, I was a 5 off 6.
The smaller ball gets in the hole easier.
Well, I'm with you on that one. I think they do. They should make the cups bigger for the balls that we play. That would be easier. Yeah, massive. I was going to ask Steve, what parts of or anything that you used to use to your strengths in cricket? What's have you had any of those come across into golf?
Not really. I wouldn't say that. Yeah, I used to hit the ball with a great big draw. Now I have to fade it because I can't get me. Well, I had a back operation and my belly's getting bigger, so I actually have to hit it the other way than what I used to. So I don't hit it quite as far. And my game's about putting. I've always been a decent putter. Where if you think I was a genuine number 11 batsman. So I didn't have a great touch when I had a bat in my hand, but I actually quite fancied myself on a green. So I just love the game. It's the game of golf is just it's a fantastic game. It ended my cricketing career because I just lost all interest in playing cricket in the last sort of 18 months of my career. And all I wanted to do was play golf. And it was golf wasn't something that I was not sort of brought into as in from a younger age. I don't think I picked a club up until I was 18-year-old, until I started playing cricket properly. Dad was not a golfer. He was an amateur footballer who played Saturday, Sunday, trained twice a week, had 4 kids, so he had no chance of playing golf. Plus, we lived in an area and I think the best way it was described, a couple of the lads that I play golf with now, I run a golf society now, about 100 and odd people in it. And, one of the old guys who took up golf at 60 said when the area we lived in, it was a mining town, not much money in it. It was like for a pair of football boots, for the same price of a pair of football boots, you could get one golf club and you needed like 14. So golf was like elitist when it come to that, a little bit like cricket. So I fell into it a bit later. Me uncle Kevin, who is to be fair, is an inspiration for anybody with a disability now. He had a horrendous industrial accident when he was 40. He was a 4-5 handicapper, and when he was 40, he lost. He had an accident and he had to get his leg amputated just under his knee, and he come back. He's now off +2. He's 55-year-old. He's off +2. He's a phenomenal golfer. He's won a few European disabled tournaments. And he was the only one in my upbringing that really played golf. And by the end of my cricketing career, I just gave up and I was playing golf with him every day. And from that point of view, the game is something that keeps your competitiveness going, but it doesn't. Obviously, the aches and pains aren't there as much as what the cricket was.
Yeah, we were talking about that as well, just briefly when we spoke on the phone. It's that you can understand where all the golf widows come from, because it is such an addictive game as well, isn't it? It's like it gives you, one day you play well, one day you play bad, and whichever way you've played, you still want to just go back out and play again.
Now, the beauty about me is I played a golf course. I've got 2 golf courses close to me. One I can get round in about 3 hours. One I can get round in about 4.5 hours. And my missus still thinks, lockdown killed me. The pub closing, because my wife thought the golf was lasting 5.5 hours. It was like, he was coming in after 2. You only play 9 holes when you come in after 3 hours. And it was like, try and drag it out. The pub's, with the club being open, so it was a nightmare. So the alcohol, that was the draw as well, the social side.
See, it's all right for you guys because you've gone from a game where you play for 5 days or 4 days or 3 days, or you're out all day and everything. Then for me, I run around for 240 minutes, and that was it. Now golf, you go around for 4.5 hours of golf. It's like fucking forever. For you, it's just a pit stop.
A pit stop.
It's
great for getting people together, though, isn't it? I mean, particularly for like the export stars, and it's such a common thread, isn't it, through the teams. You're going to find at least half a dozen in the teams used to play in that play golf, if not more. So it's great. I should imagine. Obviously, you said about doing the society and that. You got a few of the ex-players who are in that.
No, a lot of that stuff is it's about 12 years ago, we had a Sunday morning football team who just got old at the same time. So we decided that we're going to have a game of golf. There was 16 of us, and 12 years later, it's turned into 100 and odd. And the reason why the 100 and odd is we come in on a Sunday night, having had a game of golf once a month. And the bar would be bouncing with about 20, 30 blokes who's had a good laugh in the morning. had a few beers in the afternoon, and the ones that are still standing, everybody else who hadn't been are going, fuck me, they've enjoyed themselves. Look at the state of him and that bound out. And I've had about 4 or 5 lads in their 60s go to a second-hand shop or go on eBay, get a set of clubs, quietly go to the driving range out the way, and then decide to join and come off the back of it. And it's turned into that, and it's brilliant. It brings everybody into it. You know, the handicap system is fantastic, and it's good for spending time with people that you want to spend time with.
It's not about the golf, is it? Really?
No, not really.
You know what I mean? It's about the socialising. It's about, you know, I've got a couple of mates who don't particularly, they don't like golf, but if we go out now and again, or we go away, they'll say, oh, I'll pull a trolley for you. And we just have a laugh, we have a walk on the way down, and then we all have a beer after. Bloody great.
Yeah. Well, I think that's it. No, I think, and it's also, I think with the lockdown situation, I think that's probably highlighted the fact that most people, you know, they want to get out and play, but it's also they've got mates that they want to meet up with again and get out on the golf course and, you know, just spend some time.
Is lockdown finishing anytime soon or what?
No, they're telling us we can't go on holiday until at least July. So it's going to upset a few people.
Golf courses open up, don't they?
Yeah, 6 days. Golf courses will open.
Our golf courses are open now.
Oh, they are.
So they're open, but the Celtic doesn't open till next Saturday, and you can only play in pairs.
Okay, we're open for we're open in 6 days, and we got 4 balls straight off the bat. But I don't know if you guys experience it. We've got a booking system, booking system, and it's called Intelligent Golf, and I think that's basically just an app and a system that loads of golf courses use. Of course, we had a message come through last night, or it had come through before, but it was saying that 7:30 last night, you'll be able to get on the system and book your tee time for next Monday. And so there's a few of us in this WhatsApp group, you know, and everyone's like, yeah, you know, getting ready for it. And it is a fucking nightmare because you go on it and you've got to be like, it's like Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? You're going for the qualifying, fingers on buzzers, you know, the quickest. And it is so stressful. But so we're all sitting there waiting, you know, and messages flying about. And the whole system went down. And it was like, one by one, everyone was going, I can't get on. And like, this thing come up saying, "Oh, there's a technical issue," and everyone's like, "I don't fucking believe this," you know, because you know that when you eventually get on there, all the tee times will be gone. But luckily, we managed to do it. But yeah, it was you couldn't have written it. I just imagine there was all these, you know, millions of golfers in the UK sitting there going, "What the fuck? I want to get my tee time," you know.
We got the same. It's BRS up here, and it's half six. You can book for 7 days or 8 days time, and that's it. And it's like, you've got a golf club with 500 members, all want to play at 9 o'clock. Everybody, there's 500 people sitting with a finger on a button trying to get between 9 and 10. And it's like bang, 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 bang. You look, between 7 and 8, there's nobody playing. And between 11 and 1, there's nobody playing. Yeah. But all 500 members want to play. And if you don't get on, there is hell on. There's emails, I can't get a tee time. We had this. And it's like, fuck off, man, will you? Crazy. You see golf clubs with like queues a mile long to get on the tee at 9 o'clock, and then at 11 o'clock there's nobody standing there. It's crazy.
Wow. I'd rather play at 7.
Yeah,
at 7 and get on with it.
Do you guys, I mean, generally, do you guys suffer from, you know, like the old injuries and things? And I'm thinking, you know, like you mentioned about morning golf there, 7 o'clock. I mean, I've only played amateur sports, but I noticed, you know, in the old days, you get up and just go and play anytime. But now, like 7 o'clock, you feel like you need a decent half-hour warm-up or something before you get out and play. But, I mean, obviously, you guys have played sport at the very best. You put your bodies absolutely to the max. I mean, do you find getting out on a golf course is a struggle? You need a warm-up, or you got to wait till later in the day, things like that?
No, I'm too excited to get on the course. So I'm all right.
Yes, I'm ready to go. A coffee and a bacon and egg butty, and I'm ready to go.
Do you not think because you've played sport at such a high level that it just takes one poor shot and I'm switched on? Forget half an hour warm up. If I hit the first, into the rough on the right-hand side, I'll switch on from there because
Right.
your competitiveness, your juices go, right, I'm going to get a par or a bogey out of this. And then all of a sudden you're aware that's you going. Yeah. I've never really, to be fair, you know, Scott mentioned there 40 minutes and, you know, we played for 5 days and 6 hours. Warm-ups was the worst. If you ask any cricketer, what's the worst thing about cricket? Every single one will say it to a man, apart from somewhere like, I don't know, Paul Collingwood or Darren Maddy or something like that will say a fucking warm-up. They just love warm-up. Nobody loves warm-up. It's a fucking nightmare. So,
Harmy, how many warm-ups have you done in your career?
I did fuck all, to be fair. I was best when fresh. The first ball hurt, the second ball hurt just a little bit less, and by the third or the fourth ball, if I wasn't loose, I was injured.
I'll give you 2 words, boys. It'll change your life. Deep heat.
Yeah.
That's it. Do the warm up. Yeah. Stick some deep heat on. It does it for you. Fucking brilliant. Lovely. Ready to go. I did though once, right? I used to put deep heat on as we were walking out the door. So, right, come on, teams, 2 minutes. Right, die chips come over, deep heat, all the back of my neck, back my arm, down my legs, happy days. Vicks up the nose. Ready to fucking kill somebody. That's it. And then we were there. Right, 2 minutes to go. Deep heat on, everybody, up the nose. Fucking hell, come on. Then the police went, 20-minute delay. Oh, fucking hell. Oh. I was like, yes, after about 2 minutes, I was like, because normally I'm running around by now, feeling great. I was like, after 5 minutes, I was actually in the shower, having a cold shower. I was like, and I was like a lobster. It was ridiculous, honestly. So literally, I go, 2 minutes to go, and I go, any cops around? No. All right, yeah, go on, plaster me up. Oh man, it was horrible. I got my wife to do it. My wife makes candles. She's got a candle business, and she's done one now called Try, and it's deep heat scent.
Oh wow!
And every now and again, I go over and make some candles, right? And if she's doing the deep heat ones, fucking hell, after making 100 of them, I just want to run through walls. Oh, it's amazing. Honestly, if a delivery driver came in when I was making deep heat candles, I'd want to fucking smash him, man. Oh, it does get me well there. It's just the smell of it. That was lovely.
I always found the cricket warm-ups were just so like waste of time. It was like ridiculous because you get out on the ground about 9:30, you run around for an hour, be back in the dressing room for 10:30. You sit down and do fuck all for 25 minutes before the bell goes, and then out you go again. So you got to warm up again. Nah, not warm-ups, not for me. Cup of tea, bit of toast about 10:45. And just wheel me out, and I'm aware. That's it, going.
Who was it?
Some people say I wasn't professional, but well, that was me.
You were over professional because you were looking after your body so much.
Absolutely, I was putting.
Play smarter, not harder.
Warm with the tea, yeah.
Well, was it McGrath that twisted his ankle?
Yeah, that was it. Edgbaston.
Yeah. So I said he was flying at the time, wasn't he? He twisted his ankle. He's out.
Just bowled us out at Lords. He got eight for fuck all at Lords, made England look foolish. And it was amazing that obviously the 05 series was amazing for the country, but we went into that series thinking, right, we got a chance to beat Australia, and all of a sudden we bowled him out for not very many, and then he goes and gets 8 for, and it was 8 for something stupid. He loved bowling at Lords. He made us look like fools. We got well beat, and then it was like all the question marks was like England again. Here we go again. Ashes have gone. Proper Australia have turned up, and we get to Edgbaston on the flattest wicket in the world, and McGrath goes and stands on the ball and rolls his ankle after what he had done. And I must admit, when we were standing, we were standing, and I've said this in front of Glenn, so I'm not sort of belittling anything, but. When you hear people say they do not like seeing a fellow professional get injured, you know, you hear that quite a bit. You don't want to see a fellow professional get injured. Well, on that day, that was bollocks because there was fucking 10 Englishmen and a South African doing cartwheels on the other side of the ground when McGrath was lying on the floor on his way to hospital. I tell you, because that was us back in the Ashes. He plays in that series. He plays that whole series. You know, it's not. I don't think it's as great for England. But when he did it, it was like when they say, "Oh, don't want to see a fellow professional get injured." When McGrath was on that golf buggy going to hospital, there was a lot of happy English batsmen.
Didn't they win the toss and
Ricky won the toss. Yeah. Ricky won the toss and bowled on the flattest wicket in England in about 20 years. Shane Warne, honestly, you'd have thought Shane Warne was like the Pinocchio puppet, right? And Geppetto had just clipped his strings, because after 8 overs, Warney comes on. Trez hits his first ball at 6, and I have never. We could hear him from the sideline. You've never heard Warney swear as much, and these two guys know Warney swears a lot. He was effing and jeffing all afternoon because of what Ricky had done. It was literally, it was the flattest wicket ever, and Warney was not happy. I thought his head was going to come off at one point. He was shaking his head that much. I thought he's like a puppet. Somebody had caught his strings.
Because Warney told Punter, he said, "You have to bat first. If you win the toss, you have to bat first." And Punter went, "You win the toss, we're going to have a bowl." Warney's gone.
You've just lost McGrath. You've got Gillespie, who's just been smashed in the one days. You've got Kastrovic, who's just been smashed in the one days. And you've got a pitch that's not going to turn, and McGrath's in hospital. And you win the toss. It was an ego thing. It was simple ego. We'll bowl you out, Lords. We'll bowl you out. We are Australia. And it backfired on him. I love golf. It's just a great game. Great way of meeting people and having a laugh. As you probably realised in the last hour, I don't take myself too seriously. Can't take myself too seriously, and everything's just a bit of fun. Yeah, and that's what sport should be. I don't know about you, the rest of the guys, but some of the best times I had on the sports field was when I was actually enjoying myself. I was having a bit of fun. You can imagine Sean and Dimi 100%. Talk about playing with Warney. Warney just has fun. You look at Warney, he just has fun. He just breeds success, but he breeds a good atmosphere, and there's no coincidence. When you're playing your best is when you're having a good time and a bit of fun. So once the golf course opens and then the bar opens, I'll be as happy as a pig in shit. If you ever get dragged up north for some reason, there's golf courses all over here. I've got to try and find somewhere getting in with Dimi, to be fair, because Dimi's had a 4 talking about Friday and playing with Warney, and he says, "Oh, I think it might rain." It's actually going to rain there probably once, and it's going to be about 25, 30 degrees. It actually rains here every day, and it's about fucking 3 degrees. Fucking difference in playing golf.
I know. I've moved over here. I've turned into a fair weather golfer. I'm a proper soft southerner now.
Another one.
Can only play 350 days a year.
Actually, it did remind me. I played in the States once, and the guys I played with there, they were considering not going out, and I could, I was like, "Well, what's the problem?" They said, "Oh, the wind's getting up," So we went out there, and I was like, when's it getting up? And they were thinking, "No, it's getting a bit breezy. It's getting a bit too much." So you get these golfers who just want to go out in the absolute pure conditions, bit of rain, bit of wind, they're not interested.
But never fucking play.
No.
I know.
He mustn't have one of them things at home called a wife.
Oh man, I'll play all the time if I could. I love it.
I actually think that was the last time I seen you, Dim, on that Footballers Cricketers.
Oh, really?
I think so. I think we've crossed paths since then. And to be fair, I wouldn't really remember if I was on that trip or not. I lose 4 days. I lose 5 days of my life when I go on that thing.
Oh no.
Come back from that thing to Mexico. You have a good time? No, overcast in Portugal. Probably watch this later on. She'll go, "You're a lying bastard. I know you will."
You need 2 weeks quarantine after a trip like that.
Oh, I'd take 2 weeks quarantine over there in that thing. Just put me in Valdelobo and let me be.
I got 3 months. 3 months over. 3 months at Lords. 2 with Middlesex. 1 with London Spirit.
Are you doing London?
Yeah.
I've just had 5 weeks with Mark Nicholas telling me that his team are unbeatable.
What, the Southern Brave?
Southern Braves, yeah.
His team. I love how he calls it his team.
His team, yeah. He's telling us that they're unbeatable. You have to play on a big field, because if you've got a pitch which has got no pace in it whatsoever, you've got 4 90-mile-an-hour bowlers. If one travels, they're all traveling.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, pace is only good one thing if you can actually put it in the right area.
Yeah.
If not, it goes at 12 and over.
Nah, there's a lot of good teams, so
it should be good fun. That.
Yeah, it will be.
I'm looking forward to it.
Do you two think that because they've all been invested in, the amount of money that's been invested, it has to succeed? But are you of the older generation that thinks the actual this would be a good competition to play 2020 rather than them try something different?
Yeah, it's the perfect. Well, it would have been the perfect opportunity to do a franchise T20 competition.
Yeah,
they've got the best window. That July, August window, get the best players in the world. They could have done it, but they've decided to go this way, and obviously they've got some very good overseas players that are coming. And look, I think it will work anyway.
Mm-hmm.
But they could have done the T20 years ago, couldn't they? To be fair.
Yeah. Is it going to be a different? How many balls per over?
5.
Yeah,
so 5 balls an over.
Yeah, and you can bowl 10 in a row, 20 max. So it's.
Was it?
Yeah.
Bloody hell.
Is planning for it being different to what T20 is from a coach's point of view? Is the planning for it being different from a coach's point of view?
I think a little bit, because if you look at it, I suppose, the Welsh. I'm not sure if is Stark going again. Well, anyway, if Stark got signed by the Welsh Fire the first time round.
Yeah.
And ideally, he could bowl when he's on fire. Imagine Stark bowling the first 10 balls of the match.
Yeah.
With the ball swinging and hooping, and then bowling the last 10 with it reversing.
Yeah. Like an archer or a bummer or something like that.
Yeah, and then you got Rashid Khan at if he gets on fire, he could bowl 10 in a row, then have a quick break, and then bowl another 10.
Yeah. Richardson's here instead of Stark.
That's right. Yeah.
So.
Is that all from the same end, or you'll have to change ends?
You can bowl 10 from the same end, but you can't bowl 5 from one end and 5 from the next, in a row.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if you've got somebody you want to bowl at, and they don't get a single, you can just say, no, I'm going to have 5 of them again.
Yeah, absolutely. They're the tactics. Yeah, it's great.
That's good.
I suppose that's the
I quite like that.
Yeah, I suppose that's the new
innovation. If you got Kohli one end and you've got somebody else the other end, you want to keep Kohli down here 10 balls, isn't it?
Yeah,
absolutely, you do. Yeah,
and that's the tactics and the beauty about this. What this game is going to be. There'll be that Welsh Fireside will be Cardiff on a night time in the middle of summer.
Be bouncing.
That could be bouncing. They've got a half decent side as well. None of them are Welsh, but they've got a half decent side.
Hey, after being in Cardiff for 3 months, they'll all be Welsh then. you won't. When those bars open again, you won't get them looking out there.
Well, I've been going around in circles for a year, but the thing in the middle has been the fridge. Fucking sick of it. Just every time I open the door, just like, fucking hell, not you again, fatty. It's like, I'll go in for a beer, I'll go in for some food. It's just, I just need to get away. We'll see what lockdown's going to divorce. My divorce is going to be from my fridge. I'm sick of it.
Oh, man. Hey, you think you're bad, Abby, right? I've got a freezer indoors, a freezer outdoors. I've got a drinks fridge, and I've got a food fridge. And they're all fucking empty. Oh man, it's killing me. One day I'm going to go on a diet.
Yeah, I'll be in the ground by then.
You need one of the fridges that I've got. It's got a door that just keeps nudging you to tell you that, back off. I don't know if you got those. You sort of open the door and you stand there and it comes and closes on you, nudges you. And subconsciously you don't realise, but you just keep elbowing the door out of the way, but it just keeps coming back to you. I always thought that's maybe the fridge trying to tell you to move away,
No, mine doesn't listen to me.
Oh, mine's like my wife. It doesn't listen to me either.
Boys, it's been a pleasure.
Yeah, good stuff, guys. We'll catch up soon.
You guys.
All the best. Good luck.
Keep in touch.
See you soon.
Cheers, Harvey.
Cheers,
I'll
guys.
see you.
Cheers, lads.
See you out there. Ta-ra, boys.
Take care, guys.